Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. In this video, we are going to learn multiple clusters in Kubernetes. That is KinD. What is KinD? It is a Kubernetes in Docker. Actually, local development in Kubernetes. Here in this video, we will create a Kubernetes cluster using Docker. Okay, it is used as a local development in Kubernetes. This Kubernetes cluster is not meant for production purpose. It is a local development purpose. You can create a cluster on your local PC. Okay, I will show you. If you want to create a Kubernetes cluster in your PC, first I will highly recommend you to watch my container video, Docker container tutorial. Okay, if you want to create a Kubernetes for production purpose, you can create EKS or AKS, that is. But local development purpose, for local development purpose, you can create a KinD or Minikube cluster. Okay, what is first? Let me show you what is Kubernetes. What is Kubernetes? First, you should know what is Kubernetes. On Kubernetes, it is a container orchestration. What do you mean by it? Container orchestration means you can run a containerized application on Kubernetes. For this, first let me discuss the Kubernetes architecture. Here you can see the cluster architecture, or Kubernetes architecture is two components. One is control plane and another is node or worker node. Okay, but in KinD, control plane and worker node both are runs in Docker. Actually, container orchestration, one is on Kubernetes architecture, one is sorry, control one is control plane, and another is worker node. Here you can see the Kubernetes architecture, one is control plane and another is worker node. This control plane is installed on any virtual machine, or worker node can be installed in another virtual machine. Actually, if you create a Kubernetes cluster, you need a virtual machine for worker control plane and another virtual machine for node or worker node. You can install control plane one or more virtual machine. Likewise, you can also install worker node one or more virtual machine. To create clusters for production purpose, you need the virtual machines. Okay, but here in this tutorial, I will show you can create Kubernetes cluster by using Docker. Okay, it's a local development purpose. Okay, to install the Kubernetes in your local PC, create Kubernetes, create K8s Kubernetes cluster in your PC. You can create Kubernetes in your local PC. But how many ways you can create? By using, one is you can create Minikube. It is also a, you can create Minikube. You can install Minikube on your local PC, or KinD. KinD is a Kubernetes in Docker. To know the KinD architecture, here control plane is installed on a VM, but in KinD you can install the control plane on a container. This is a one container for control plane and worker node for another container. That's why it is called Kubernetes in Docker. Docker is a container. That means you can launch Kubernetes in Docker. Okay, I will show you in a hands-on way. Okay, for this demo purpose, to utilize this tutorial, I will highly recommend you to watch this video, Docker container tutorial. Here I have explained how to create a containerized application and how to run a containerized application. Okay, to create a Kubernetes in Docker, for this demo purpose, I am using Ubuntu WSL. If you want to know how to create a Ubuntu WSL, I have created another video, that is Linux on Windows, how to install and use WSL on Windows. You can watch this tutorial also. To create a Kubernetes in cluster, let me quickly open the Ubuntu WSL. Just first CMD and this click and click on Ubuntu. It will open a Ubuntu machine. It is my Windows operating system. First click on CMD, then click lower arrow key, okay, and then click on Ubuntu. It will open the Ubuntu machine on your Windows. Okay, you can check out that video. Okay, this is the Ubuntu machine. To install the Kubernetes in Docker, first you need to install the Docker on your machine. Okay, it is my GitHub repo. Here you can see this is my GitHub repo. You can use this. Just go to the DevOps tutorial section, and here go to the Kubernetes learn section, and here you can find KDS. Kubernetes in Docker, you should first install the Docker. To install the Docker, first you should update the repository. Sudo apt update -y and hit enter. First update the repository. Okay, wait a little bit. Okay, it is updated. Control L, clear the screen. It is my Ubuntu machine. I want to create a Kubernetes in this machine, Kubernetes cluster in this machine. That is, I want to create a KinD cluster on this my local PC. It is my local PC. It is my laptop, and it is a Ubuntu operating system. To create a KinD cluster, first, what is the prerequisite? To create the KinD cluster, first you should install the Docker. Install Docker first. Okay, you can install the Docker in install Docker on Ubuntu. Okay, click here, install Docker. You can use this documentation. Okay, go to this, install using apt user. Okay, to first install the Docker, you can use this command, copy and paste it here. Okay, enter. First use this command. Right now I am installing Docker on my machine. Okay, then go to this second command, install Docker packages. Just copy and paste it here, hit enter, press Y and hit enter. Okay, then you have to copy this command. Okay, then you have to post installation command. You can use this tutorial also. First, this is the done. Then you can use this sudo user group. No, this command. First, use this command. Copy and paste it here. It is done. Control L, clear the screen. Then you should run this command sudo user mod, this command, and hit. Then you have to use this new grp docker and hit enter. If you want to know what is the docker version, docker docker -version. Okay, docker okay, you have successfully installed the docker. Okay, to create the KinD cluster, first you should install the docker in your machine. I have installed the docker. Okay, docker is installed. Then you should install the KinD. You can go to this KinD install. You can use this tutorial also. Okay, installation. Here, this is the command. On Linux, this is the command. This. Here, you can also see this command. Just copy this. Okay, and then Control L, clear the screen, and this. It will install the KinD software, and then okay, KinD installed successfully. Then you can use this command, KinD version. KinD version. You can see the KinD is installed successfully. KinD, what is KinD? KinD is a Kubernetes in Docker. KinD installed successfully. It is a Docker image. You can see the Docker images command, Docker images. You can use also Docker PS. There is no container. Okay, after creating a Kubernetes cluster, you can see the container run. Okay, I will show you. To create a Kubernetes cluster, just use this command. Okay, KinD create cluster. Okay, it will create a cluster and hit enter. You can see it is creating the Kubernetes cluster in Docker. I will show you. It is a single node cluster. It is creating. It takes time. First time it takes time to create a Kubernetes cluster in Docker. Okay, this is my GitHub repo. I will put the link in the description. You can use this repo. Okay, right now it is creating a Kubernetes cluster in Docker. It is preparing nodes, starting control plane. It is a single node cluster. I will show you what is single node cluster. It is done. You can see KinD cluster info. What is, I will just let me, if you put this command KinD find create cluster, it will create a cluster. Say for example, one is control plane or another is worker node. It is a Kubernetes architecture. It is a control plane and is a worker node. Okay, if we execute this command KinD create cluster, it will only create a one container. This one container acts as a control plane as well as worker node. Okay, control plane, it is a container. It is a container. It is acts as Number one, control plane, and number two, it is also acts as worker node, and both is it is a container. It is a container. In production, Kubernetes is one is control plane, is a VM virtual machine, and another is worker node. It may be installed on another virtual machine. But KinD, what is KinD? KinD creates a control plane. Control plane is one container, and worker node is another container. I will show you how to create multi-node multi-node Kubernetes clusters. I will show you later. Okay. It is also a container. Container. It is a control plane, and it is a worker node, but it is also a container. That's why it cluster in name is the cluster name is Kubernetes in Docker. It is a Docker. Kubernetes in Docker. Let's go to the terminal. Here you can see the container is created. If we put the Docker ps command, you can see the one container is running. That is the kindest. That means you can create cluster, and its cluster is running on the container. That's why its name is Kubernetes in Docker. Okay, you can also use the Docker images. Okay, you can see the kindest image is there. This image runs, this is the container. Okay, clear the screen. If you want to know the cluster, KinD cluster info, cluster cluster -info. Sorry, KinD get no. You can use this KinD get clusters. It will show the name of the cluster, that is the KinD. Okay, it is a single node cluster. Okay, just for this I will show you, it is a one container. I will show you how to create a multi-node cluster. That means I want to create a Kubernetes cluster, one control plane, and I want to create 2 or 3 worker nodes. Okay, that's why it is called a multi-node Kubernetes cluster. I will show you how to create. One is control plane, and this is a worker node. Okay, how to create, and another to access this cluster. To access this cluster, it is a cluster. The cluster contains one worker node or two or more worker node, one control plane, two or more worker node. How to access the control plane? To access the control plane, one thing is required, that is a kubectl. By using kubectl client, I have to install the kubectl on my PC. Okay, by using kubectl client, we can access the control plane. If we deploy an application in this cluster, but how to interact with the cluster? To interact with the Kubernetes cluster, you should install the kubectl client on your PC. Okay, I will show you how to install the kubectl, how to access the cluster. To access the cluster, you should need to install the kubectl. How to install the kubectl? Just go to the my documentation. You can use this, install kubectl binary with curl on Linux. As it is a Ubuntu WSL, that's why I have to use this command. First use this, copy this command and install. Wait a little bit. It takes time to install. Okay, it is installing the kubectl. Okay, it is done. Then you should run this command. Copy and paste it here and hit enter. Okay, then you can you check the version of the kubectl. Just use this. You can see the kubectl is installed successfully on your Ubuntu machine. How to access the this KinD cluster? Just kubectl cluster info. You can see this is the cluster information. Okay, you can use this command also to to want to know the which I want to let you know how to you want to know the kubectl command to access the which cluster is associated with your right now, to know the current context of the cluster. If you have a multiple cluster, say for example one single node cluster and another is you have a cluster multiple node, if you want to know the which cluster is right now associated, to use this command kubectl, hit enter, kubectl config view. You can see the which cluster is right now associated, config view, and hit enter. You can see the context is KinD one. It is a KinD cluster. Clear the screen, cubes KUBE, and hit tab. kubectl config view, kubectl config current context, and hit enter. It is a KinD. Okay, your Kubernetes cluster is created. Okay, it is a single node cluster. Okay, if you want to create a multiple cluster, okay, if you want to create a multiple clusters in Kubernetes, that is, you can create a one control plane and 3 worker nodes. If you want to create or 2 worker nodes, all are container. How to create say multiple nodes in Kubernetes? To create a multiple nodes in Kubernetes, multi-node Kubernetes cluster, just use this command. First, okay, just use this command. Use this, copy this. Okay, to okay, first use vim multinode cluster dot YAML. First, you have to copy this command and this vim and create a config file that is name is multinode k8 cluster. Okay, and hit enter, and just use this 3 node cluster, copy this and paste it here. Okay, control X, F, W, and hit enter. Your config is ready. Multinode K8s cluster. It is a config file for multiple cluster. Okay, you can also see nano multi and hit enter. You can see one control plane and 2 worker node. It will create one control plane and 2 worker node. Control X. Okay, to create the multi-node Kubernetes cluster, use this command. Okay, KinD create cluster and name of the this command. Copy. Okay, it is a cluster. I will name it 3 node, one control plane and another 2 is worker node. That's why its name is 3 node K8s. I name it. You can name any name you can give. And config equal to, that is the name of the config file. Okay, sorry, and hit enter. It will create a one worker node and one control plane and 2 worker node. Okay, I will show you, and hit enter. It is create cluster name is 3 node k8s. Okay, it is creating 3 node cluster. Earlier I have created one single node cluster, that is KinD. Okay, wait a little, it is done. Okay, KinD cluster info, KinD get clusters. Okay, 2 clusters is available. Earlier I have created, that name is KinD, and right now I have created 3 node cluster, another cluster that is name is 3 node k8s. 2 cluster Kubernetes cluster is available. Which cluster right now is pointing it? One, I want to let you know the 2 Kubernetes cluster. One cluster name is KinD, and another cluster name is 3 node k8s. But right now points to kubectl. Which nodes is pointing right now pointing? The right now pointing is 3 node cluster. I will show you how. Okay, kubectl, cube, and hit tab, config, config current context, to know the current context, current current context, and hit enter. It will show it is right now pointing this KinD cluster, KinD 3 node k. This right now I am, if I want to deploy any application, it will deploy it in this Kubernetes cluster. Okay, if you want to change the cluster, I want to point the cluster in this KinD. How to change the context? Use this command, cube, hit tab, config. You can use just clear this, control L, kubectl config, config view, view. You can see this is the KinD. What is the cluster? This is the one cluster name is KinD 3 node, and another is KinD 2 cluster. You can see the context. One is KinD 3 node k8s context, and another is KinD. This KinD current. This is the context KinD. One is KinD 3 node k8s, and another is KinD. If you want to change the current context, just use this command, kubectl config use context, config use context, and name of the context. I want to change my context in this, and hit enter. You can see switch to the context KinD. You can use this kubectl config current context, and you can see it will show the KinD. Okay, in this way you can change the cluster. You can change your point according to your cluster. Okay, now I will show you how to deploy an application on this Kubernetes cluster. Okay, I want to change the current context, that is this 3 node cluster. Okay, copy this 3 node k8s context. Okay, this context, copy, right click, and paste it in here. Here I want to deploy an application in this Kubernetes cluster. Clear the screen. To deploy the application in Kubernetes, you need a manifest file. Okay, to deploy the application on Kubernetes cluster. Okay, two things is to go. One is deployment manifest, and another is service. Why it is required? Service is required to access the application. Okay, for this tutorial I have already created a manifest file you can also use this my application. You can use this application. Okay, I will show you. Go to the Kubernetes section and go to the K8s. Here you can use this. First, create a YML file. Copy. Here you can use this command vim and name of the YAML file and hit enter. Press I for insert and just copy this. It is a simple Go application. Copy and paste it here. It is a simple Go application. Okay, one is deployment and another is service. Okay, here you can see the one thing, that is the match label. Match label. It is the Go app, and this match label is associated with the pod information. That name is Go app, and this Go app is connected to the service, that label, that selector, that is Go app. That's why it is very important. And in the container, I have used inside the container I have used 8000 port, container port. That's why here it is written target port 8000, and you can access the application on host port 880. Okay, just save this, escape colon WQ and hit enter. It is saved. Your manifestation file is ready. But how to deploy? To deploy the application in Kubernetes, use this command. To deploy the application, just use kubectl apply -f and name of the YAML file, name of the manifest file. Here in my case, K8s, and hit tab and hit enter. As soon as I execute this command, it will create a pod. You can think of the pod as a container right now. Okay, and hit enter. Kubectl get pods -w. You will see the pod is right now creating. It is creating 0 by 1. It will shows you 1 by 1. Wait a little bit. It is a 7 seconds. It takes time to provision the container. That is the pod. Right now, 2 pods is spin up. That means your pod is ready. Control C. You can use this kubectl kube get pods. 2 pods is running. Okay. You can also use this kubectl get all. It will create 2 pod. Okay, 2 pod and one service, that name is Go app service. 2 replicas. Okay, Go app deployment, this is the replica set, and this is the deployment name. Okay, your application is deployed successfully. But how to access the application? How to access the application? To access the application, use this service manifestation. Okay, service manifestation. But as is a kind Kubernetes cluster, it is a containerized container. This cluster is spin up on container. This is the most. If you in architecture, you can view it is your laptop. Okay, and your containers or cluster is spin up inside your PC. That is, it is a container. It is your laptop or PC, and it is the cluster. It is the cluster, your cluster, kind cluster, and it is a container. If you access the application deployed in this cluster, if you access this your pod, this is your pod. If you access from your laptop, to access the application, you should use this command kubectl port forward. Kubectl port forward. I will show you, and name of the pod and the port. First use the your any port you can use, and colon and container port, and then hit tab, enter. Okay. But in production, you need not use this command. As it is a kind cluster, that's why I have to access the application, use this command. But if you in production, as it is a EKS cluster, if it is your EKS or AKS cluster, you need not use this command. You just use the service. You just use the service. I will show you the service file. Service file one is load balancer, and after use this service load balancer, you can access the file. Okay, it is your production purpose. But to access the application in Kubernetes class in kind cluster, use this command. Okay, to access the application, that is kubectl. What is use? I have already written all the commands here. Go to the kubectl port forward. Okay, name of the, this is the kubectl port forward, name of the port. Copy, sorry, kubectl port forward, and then any pod you can use. Here pod is here, this is the pod name. I can use this command. Just select it and right click it, and then here right click. Okay, inside the container, inside the pod, I have used the port number 8000, but outside it, but host port, right now I want to use 8383 colon inside the port 8000 and hit enter. It is forwarding. Go to the browser and just use localhost, and outside the container I have used 8000, localhost 8000, and hit enter. Wait a little bit. Oh, sorry, 8000 is not accessible, and outside the port I have used 8383 and hit enter. It will show the 404 page not found. It is okay because I didn't use any API in this root path. That's why here I can use hello, and it will show the hello world. You can see, that means you can successfully access the application, Go application. It is shows the hello world. And if you use this ping, it will shows the pong message. That means you can access the application, your Kubernetes, through your Kubernetes cluster. Successfully you have installed, successfully you have deployed the Go application in your Kubernetes kind cluster. Okay, you have deployed successfully. Where you have deployed? It is deployed in 3 node clusters. Okay, if you want to delete the application or delete the deployment, use this command, kubectl delete and name of the deployment. Here deployment name is Go app deployment. Just copy it, right click, and here, oh sorry, kubectl deployment, delete deployment, deployment, and it is deleted, deployment delete. Control it, kubectl get pods, there is no pod. kubectl get all, only service, Kubernetes service and Go app service is available. Okay, if you want to destroy, if you want to delete the cluster, how to? We have two cluster. One is kind cluster, it is a single node cluster, and another name is 3 node cluster. I will show you how to delete. To delete the cluster, first let me know the find get clusters. There is two clusters. If you use this command, find delete cluster, it will delete the default cluster, that is kind. Okay, and hit enter. It is deleting the kind cluster. Okay, kind cluster is deleted. You kind get cluster, you can see only one cluster is left. If you want to delete this cluster, just use this command, kind delete cluster, and name of the cluster in name equal to this, and hit enter. So just use name hyphen name, sorry, hyphen name equal to 3 node cluster. It will deleting the 3 node cluster also. Okay, you can use this kind get cluster, there is no cluster available. Okay, in this video you will learn how to create a local development in Kubernetes. Here you can see the local development in Kubernetes in Docker. That means you can create a Kubernetes cluster by using Docker. I have shown how to create a multiple clusters in Kubernetes. Okay, you can how to create cluster. I have already shown after creating the cluster how to change the context, that is kubectl config current context. How to access the cluster? To access the cluster, use the kubectl to access the cluster. Okay, I have shown how to deploy an application on Kubernetes cluster. Okay, I have shown how to delete the deployment, Kubernetes deployment. Okay, how to create the cluster and how to delete the cluster, I have shown. Okay, if you have any questions, let me know in the comment section, and you can I highly recommend you to use this tutorial, Docker container tutorial. Okay, you can watch this video, and you can also watch the Linux on Windows. Okay, this is the my Ubuntu WSN. Okay, to exit the Ubuntu WSN, just use exit command. Okay, exit. Okay, and you can use WSL hyphen list hyphen verbose and hit enter. One is Ubuntu is running. Okay, in this way you can use the multiple clusters in Kubernetes. Okay, and you can use this documentation. This is my GitHub profile. You can connect with me in LinkedIn, and this is my DevOps tutorial repository. And in this DevOps tutorial repository, you can use this Kubernetes learn and kind. You can use this documentations also. Okay, here step by step guides is mentioned. If you like the video, please like it, share it, and subscribe it. Okay, thank you.